Explorers, Keto Explorer here, and today I'm here to talk about house sitting stories. Meaning, I've been a house sitter and I also have house sitters in my home. Today I'm going to talk about me hiring a house sitter. So I'm going to go over the process a little bit. I've talked about it in a prior video, but it was so long ago, so we're going to refresh. And then I'm also going to talk about or share with you a story from a recent house sitter in my home. So hopefully you can learn from my mistakes, okay? So let's get into today's video. And before we do, if you're new here, welcome. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be notified of my future travel related videos. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Now let's get into this video. So just to let you know, I do use trusted house sitters for the house sitting platform that I use, whether if I'm looking for a house sit or looking for a sitter for my home. It is a platform you do pay a membership for, and it's basically a platform to help travelers. So it's a platform that, hey, I'm traveling, I don't want to spend on accommodations, or I'm traveling and I don't want to spend for no one to come sit in my house, water my plants, or watch my pet, okay? So it's definitely a cost saver for people who travel. I know people always talk about like, we should get paid. And this is not the purpose of this platform. There are other platforms out there for that. But let's talk about the selection process. So when I put out my advertisement on Trusted House Sitters, or my listing, I should say, is a better term. Anyone who does it, you're gonna get several applications in. What I look for when an application comes in is one, seeing if they actually personalize their letter to me or their application to me. They actually apply properly. I had someone for this particular house that I'm gonna tell the story about. She didn't even say anything. She just was like, what part of Atlanta are you in? Like, don't waste my time. Yeah, that is one thing I look at. I've also had people where I can tell they use artificial intelligence because 2 or 3 people applied with the same wording. So it's either AI or they used a template. Regardless, you gotta make stuff your own, y'all. You gotta make stuff your own. Don't just take copy and paste. You got to organize it and personalize it to your own experiences. And then after I go through the applications, look at their profile, see what they're saying on the profile, and looking at their prior reviews, I will select people to call. I have to call people. If they do not want to have a phone call, I am not interested in them coming in my house, okay? I need to have a phone call. Particularly, I actually would prefer FaceTime or a Zoom call because I want to see your face, because 9 times out of 10, I'm probably not going to see them before I leave. I prefer to see them. I prefer to welcome them in my home and show them where things are. But just in case that doesn't happen, I want to see who's showing up in my house. Even if that does happen, I just don't want someone to randomly knock on my door and I've never seen them or seen their interactions, okay? And so I do ask some questions during the phone call, and I believe I have a document out there to help you get ready. So I'll leave that link down below so you can download that for free. You may be entered on my mailing list. If you don't want to be on there, you can always unsubscribe, right? But anyways, that's a different topic. So yeah, those are the things I look for in helping select. I look at their application, I look at their profile, look at their prior reviews, and I set up a phone call, more so Zoom or FaceTime, to talk with them before deciding who I'm going to select. Now, before the house sitter comes, I do set up my home for the house sitter. I am a very, very clean person, so I don't want to leave my home dirty anyway, or things out of place before I travel, even if there wasn't a house sitter here. So I'm definitely doing it before a house sitter arrives. I make sure all the supplies are stocked, so meaning like toilet paper, any cleaning supplies. I'm gonna make sure the dishes are clean. So this house is going to be clean. I'm gonna make sure the bed is sheeted, meaning the guest bedroom. I have a guest bedroom, that's where they stay. They can't come in my bedroom. I'm gonna make sure that the keys are ready, the garage door is ready, any instructions are ready, and taking out the trash or whatever I need to do to make sure the home is ready for when they come in, okay? So that is my main setup. I already have all the supplies that I need. I do put some things up that I don't want them meddling in, okay? But I do make sure the home is ready for them so they can come in and they don't have to worry about anything once they get here. I've had 3 house sitters now. My first 2 house sitters were wonderful. I didn't really have to worry. Like, I'm gone wherever, out of the country, whatever, and I never have to worry about my home. Those first 2 house sitters, they would just, they would send me a message every few days because I do have plants, just to touch base, right? But they wouldn't pester me. And it didn't get to a point where I'm like, oh, I need to reach out to the house sitter to see if everything's okay. And that's what I like. I like the communication is key. Communication is key in a lot of things, okay? But it's definitely key in this. So during the house sit, I definitely love and appreciate when house sitters are reaching out and touching base every once in a while. If I had a pet, I would expect a little bit more communication. If the house sitter is not reaching out, I'm going to reach out because I'm like, hey, what's going on with the plants? Is everything okay at the house? Somebody run the doorbell because I got the Ring doorbell. So I know someone run the doorbell, some solicitor. Is everything okay? Like, let me know, okay? But typically, if I have a good house sitter, I am not really worried about anything. I'm just gonna respond to any of their questions if they reach out to me. And when I respond, I always respond via the house sitter app, as well as through text messaging. It is good to have exchange of phone numbers because obviously the app may not contact you or communicate with you as quickly as a text message or a phone call. Now, after the house sit, it is very important to return, and hopefully you return to your home the way you left it. And that is a tip for y'all house sitters out there. Please leave the home the way it was left or better. Okay, you do not want the homeowner and pet owner to come home to a worse condition, especially after they've been traveling for so long. And especially if their flight was delayed, there was some issues, they don't want to deal with that, okay? But as a homeowner or a pet owner, when you come back, obviously that first day back or first night back, you want to make sure you check everything. Check to see if things are pretty much the way you left it. Obviously it's not gonna be 100%, but you wanna check that. You also want to go through what I do is I go through and make sure, I tell the house sitter actually, a few days before leaving to make sure they put all of their linen and towels in the wash machine. So I'm gonna start that wash up. And just out of precaution, I do spray the room down for creatures like bugs and stuff. You never know what people bringing up in your home. Hopefully nothing, but I do spray that. I actually put down treatment before they go too. I should have put that in the pre-steps, but I put down treatment before I leave, before the house sitter gets here because I ain't trying to deal with bugs, okay? If you know what bugs I'm talking about. And then I do spray down the room after and making sure all the linen is clean immediately. I also have covers, special bug covers on the mattresses to prevent them getting into that as well. And then once I get settled, which is probably within a day or two, I do sit down on the Trusted House Sitter platform and give a review. I'm gonna give a very thorough review because other homeowners need to know what they're hiring and what they're signing themselves up for before they come into their home. So be honest in your review that you give, okay? Okay, so now let me talk about my recent story of having a house sitter. So first of all, I posted the application quite late. It was less than a month, I think, before I needed a house sitter. I was so busy that I didn't have time to do it, or it just kept slipping away. And I'm like, one day I was like, oh my gosh, I'm leaving in a couple weeks. Like, I still don't have a house sitter. I was gonna be gone for a few weeks. I needed someone to take care of my plants, make sure, you know, there's no issues happening at home because you never know what could happen when you're gone for an extended time period. Making sure my house looks lived in and all that. And I'm like, I don't have a house sitter. So I did have a few applications. I even went on a Facebook group that I'm in, where we're a community of people who do house sits. And so I had a few people apply. The first person who applied, we had a phone call. She was great. And then I invited her to sit. She ghosted for days and I ended up having to send her a message like, hey, I have to find someone. So I'm gonna have to, you know, take back the application. So, or the offer. I ended up meeting with 2 other women who applied. because all the applications were from women this time. So I'm not like choosing women or anything like that. One was local and one was not. And I didn't choose the local person because she was like, if you have someone from out of state that's coming, hire them because they're trying to travel here. So I picked this individual. We had a great conversation. I should not have picked her because the first time we were supposed to have a phone call, what happened? She didn't show up because it was a Zoom call. So she didn't show up and she didn't tell me there was an issue. But we did end up having a great conversation. I won't get into specifics of why she said she was coming, but I felt like she didn't do any of those things because I hardly ever saw notification that like someone was leaving out of the house, because I have an alarm system, I have cameras and all of that. So I got notifications when someone was going in and out. She never gave me updates. And so I constantly had to check in. I'm like, hey, how is everything? Do you need anything? How's the plants? And that makes me have to go check the camera because I'm like, is she watering the grass? Like, I usually don't check the camera when I have someone here like that. I don't have cameras inside the home when there's a house sitter, but I have cameras outside. So I'm like, is this person actually taking care of what they're supposed to be taking care of? And then I come back, on the way back, my flight was delayed because there was weather here. And actually I got back maybe within hours before that whole CrowdStrike Microsoft shutdown issue happened, or otherwise I probably would have still been gone for another week. But yeah, so I get back home. It was after midnight. I open the door to my house, and which leads into the kitchen, and there's crumbs all over the floor. And mind you, earlier I said I'm a clean person, right? There's crumbs over the floor. I saw dirt, I saw watermelon seeds, I saw sauce had spilled and it has been there for a while because it was hard to get up. The counter, she had moved everything on my counter, my kitchen counter. It looks like when she cut open the watermelon, juice got everywhere. So it was on the counter, it had splashed up on the backdrop of the counter. Something, I don't know what it was, had spilled into the dishwasher. I was like, oh no. That, like, walking in and seeing that after midnight, after sitting in the airport for hours, really worked my nerves, okay? So I was like, okay, I have to clean tonight because I did not feel good of leaving crumbs in the kitchen. When it is the summertime in the South, there's all types of creatures that live down here, right? I walked around, I saw a dead creature, like we have big bugs down here, I'll just say that. A dead one of those in the dining room. I'm like, I ain't even had bugs like that in the dining room. Like, did you just leave the door open and it got in and you killed it and did not decide to pick it up? Like, what is wrong with you? So then I proceed upstairs. I could tell my room had not been touched, which is good because I could not finish cleaning that night. I was exhausted, but I did clean pretty much everything. I went into the guest bedroom. This person had spilled stuff on the carpet that did not come out easily because I got the carpet cleaner and I had to scrub the carpet cleaner with the carpet cleaner a few times for it to get out. And there was two things that were spilled. There was something that was blue and something that was red. So I'm like, you have food up here. When I said don't take food upstairs because of creatures, right? Don't want to attract creatures inside or especially upstairs in my sleeping arrangements. So I saw that night. The next day I proceeded to go in the bathroom. I had peeked in the bathroom, the guest bathroom a little bit, but I went the next day and I went in there. Oh my gosh, there was a ring around the tub. Mind you, I still clean that bathroom on a regular basis, even though I don't use it because it's the guest bathroom. But there's a ring around the tub. I'm like, you didn't even pour anything in here. Like, what in the world? In the toilet? Oh, no, just horrible. She tried to do things like left a broom by the entrance where that's not where I keep my broom and stuff like she had cleaned. No, just no. So I definitely have to be honest in my review about the cleanliness. She's not a person that I would hire. Like if I had a cleaning person that came in here on a regular basis, she would be great for that. But if I gotta come home and clean, I am not the Marriott, I am not the Hilton, I'm not the Hyatt, I ain't no hotel, and I am not a maid, okay? House sitters, when you sit for someone, make sure you clean up after yourself. The home should look at minimum the same way it was given to you. Don't make the homeowner come out back and have to clean up behind your nasty self, okay? Be respectful of people's homes. That was very disappointing, and it was disappointing that she did not communicate much with me. So lesson learned from this experience is just really to reiterate and explain to your potential house sitters, like, hey, please leave the home the way you found it, and please communicate this amount of times, okay? Lesson learned from that experience. All right, Explorer, so I am here to close out this video. I know I have a different shirt, my hair is different, and different scenery because I went to edit the end and I forgot to turn the mic back on to record it. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments about this video, please make sure you leave them down below. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed hearing about how I select a house sitter, what I do to prepare for a house sitter, what happens during the house sit while I'm gone, and what happens when I return. And I hope you learned a few lessons from my recent experience with a house sitter. So if you're interested in signing up with the Trust a House Sitter program, you can click on the referral code link down below, and you may receive a discount depending on what it is at the time. Otherwise, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you hit the like button. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. It is free for you to do so and helps me provide more and better content to you in the future. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Make sure you share this video with your friends, family, and social media networks so they can hear about this house sitter experience themselves. Please note that Trust the House Sitters is not responsible for this video or sponsored this video. So don't think that every house sitter on the platform is going to be like this. Out of the 3, this is the only one that I had that have given me some issues, right? So make sure you do your due diligence when selecting a house sitter. Or if you are a house sitter, make sure you do your due diligence when selecting a home or pet to sit. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day or night wherever in the world you are. Bye. Like this.